the first thing that you're going to do is on a new ClickFunnels account that's brand new that you just set up, you're not going to notice the email feature over here. So you have to go to the app section, which is really a cool feature now. You go to the app section, you actually install the email part. So you go in there and you install the email, and then you have to actually configure your marketing settings. So this is where you're going to put in your name, like who it's from, what it is. So here I'm going to put in our name here. So we'll drop that in there. And then I'm going to put our mailing address, which is our office address for marketing counts. So I'm going to drop that in there because that's how people know who we are. So I'm just going to copy and paste our address in there that is from our website. So I'm going to put in our address and we'll put in the country. And you have to have this because in order to send a broadcast email and be CAN spam compliant, it doesn't matter if you're using ClickFunnels, MailChimp, Aweber, GetResponse. The mailer does not matter. They need this. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no way around it. So you have to comply with this. This is part of the CAN Spam Act, which, by the way, means you can spam people. I was just talking to a client of ours on the phone about that. It's like you can send bulk emails. You just have to do it the right way. So it's never saying that you can't. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so all right, let's go to save right here. Okay, now I'm going to click on add the app. And this is the broadcast name email. So broadcast name, I'm going to plug in here. And now my broadcast is going to say, what am I sending? So this is going to be test email 1. Okay, test email 1. And this is to create an email blast. And notice you'll see it down here under email again. So if you ever want to get back to it, it's going to be on the left-hand side and it's going to say email. So what you're going to do now is you're going to click on broadcast name. So you're going to do broadcast name and then you're going to do test email 1. That's what I called it. That is the name that you're calling it yourself. So that is what that means. So inside ClickFunnels, this is just for you internally. Your customers are not going to see this. This is the same process that you see in any other mailer, including Shopify and other ones. Typically, you're going to name what the broadcast is. So you would say whatever product you're promoting, and then you could do a number. I actually do put numbers behind it. So I'll do like, if I'm promoting a certain offer, like let's say our marketing counts club, I would say marketing counts club -1. So that means in that campaign, I'm sending out, the logic behind it is I'm sending out my first of, let's say 4 or 5 emails, because one broadcast is not going to make your campaign successful. Like, that's very, very important to keep in mind. So you want to make sure you're getting several broadcasts out of it. Now within ClickFunnels, it's going to ask you for broadcast topics. Generally, the general setting is good, and you could add more if you wanted to. So you could, but you don't have to. I usually just stick with the general category, and that's it. In this case, it's going to ask you who you want to send your offer to. Now, this is a brand new ClickFunnels workspace. So you're not going to see anything in here as far as, you're not going to see additional details like this is a whole bunch of lists or anything, but you can go in here and you can edit your audience. So you can actually say that I want to send people whose last activity was like 1 month ago. And by last activity, that could be opened, email, joined your list, those kind of things. So I'm just going to clear that out. And then you could create other filters in here. And so you could say, I'm going to only send this to people that enrolled in my course. And you could choose, if you had a course that you were selling, you could enroll there. You could say, I'm going to send this to people that own a certain product. And in this case, I've got a digital product that's part of this digital store called 12 Winning Leadership Products, Leadership Qualities. So you can notice how I can segment down and send broadcast messages to people that maybe own a certain product, people that have purchased a certain offer or funnel. I could send this to people that viewed a certain funnel steps. So that means they went to a thank you page. They went deep into the funnel. You can do all sorts of things that you can do. The other one is very important is contact tags. And so there, if you had contact tags, you could actually set that, meaning like, I'm going to send this just to people that match this certain criteria, meaning they're tagged as, let's say, PLR funnels user or whatever you want to tag them as. If you don't do any filters, it's just going to go to everybody. And that's okay. You don't have to segment if you don't want to. So ClickFunnels makes it really easy. So now when I took out all those qualifications, now I have 5 people. Remember, this is a test account. Okay, so don't judge us. All right, so now when you go to email from, you're going to see that we have a couple domains in here. So by default, it's going to come from no reply. So it's going to come from these emails. Now you can change your from email. You're just going to have to set up those emails in order to send out from your domain. So you would have to set one up. No reply is just a standard one. It's not going to get the best delivery. So I don't encourage you to always send like this. But I do want to point out that ClickFunnels has made it much easier to send out emails by allowing you to default to this, because a lot of people weren't creating their own emails. And you can't use like at Gmail. This goes for any email provider out there, not just ClickFunnels. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to put in your subject line. And so here we're going to say you want to have a subject line that's short and punchy. So shorter, the better, but also that draws people in and intrigues them and gets their interest, because your subject line is the most important part of any email. So this again is a techie showing you how to do it, but I do want to go through the logic behind a subject line so that you are learning a little bit here. So typically a subject line is going to tell you exactly what it is you're promoting, but also the core benefit as to why they should get it, or it's going to create intrigue. So there's 2 different styles. I mean, some people send out emails that are like for example, there's an email that I'm going to be writing very soon about how you have to pay for air now at a gas station because my car tire was running low. I had to go get air. It's $2.50 to fill up my tire, which is crazy. They're literally packaging and selling air, right? So, and on top of that, they also are pushing you into their sales funnel where you buy more products. So, it's a genius model. Like it works. They have a low ticket offer to the higher ticket, which is the gas pumps, and then to the food. So like they know what they're doing there. So that's going to be an email. I'm going to talk about sales funnels and how that works. So my subject line is going to grab your interest. And so my subject line is going to say, they charge for air, like that, right? So you can do something like that if you wanted to. In my case too, you could also do, again, you could say special offer ending soon, like whatever you're emailing out, that's what's going to go in here. So just keep that in mind.
Have you ever used that AI feature in there?
What's that?
Have you ever used that AI feature in there?
I have not used it. So yeah. So they have some options here. So they have different options. I haven't personally used it much, and he's an AI built to kind of help you. So I could say,
and
write me a subject line.
ChatGPT can do something similar too. If you're really like don't know where to start, it could give you some good ideas to get started, and then you can personalize it and make it your own.
Yeah. So here I just asked it, I said, write me a subject line about my new product. I'm making money online. And so then it gives me introducing your path to online wealth or new money making product. Like they give you some options that you could work with. So that's something you can play with. ChatGPT. I personally like to come up with my own. I think it helps stand out, connect with your audience more. One of the things we are big fans of here at Marketing Counts is always focusing on your customer avatar. So know your audience, know what they want to know about. Because if you don't know what they want, your email is going to fall flat on its face. So you have to make sure that you do that. So, all right. So there's my subject line. I'm pretty proud of this one. Okay. So now we've got the pre-header text. The pre-header text is typically the text you see that follows a subject line. Most of the time, you only see the pre-header text when you are when you're actually in a desktop or laptop view. So, or tablet view, but most of the time it doesn't always show up on phone. So it's hit or miss. But that's like pre-header text. It's kind of like if you're nerdy like us thinking about SEO, it's like the meta description, it's may or may not show up, but it's good to have it. So I always include something there. So, so
a lot of times it helps the open rate because they want to read more, right?
Right. Exactly. And it takes up a little more space too. So, all right, now this split test feature would be enable split testing. So that means it's going to help you kind of understand like alternate subject lines, alternate pre-headers. You could do a 50-50 split where 50% will see the first subject and pre-header, 50% will see the alternate. So you could actually do a split test on your emails. That is an option. I would not do the split test feature. I know for some of us that are type A's, you want to do everything, right? I'm not one of those, by the way. But I've worked with enough that like they're like, I want to do it. And I'm like, you have 100 subscribers. Don't do it. I promise. It's not going to make a difference. When you get to 10,000 subscribers, by all means, split test. 5,000 subscribers, split test all day long. 1,000 subscribers, okay, maybe. But don't stress about it. It's here because ClickFunnels is great for people that are brand new online and also for advanced marketers. So don't get caught up in the weeds. And I know a lot of people, they try to do fancy things before they need to. So that's just a good little mindset piece. Don't overcomplicate this business. Like, I don't care what emailer you're using, ClickFunnels, it does not matter what emailer. Don't get into the weeds until you need to, until it makes sense, right? Get your emails out. That's the most important. Send your emails and make money. Okay. So now we're going to go to
Well,
sending options. Go ahead.
no, we never wrote the email copy at the
I'm
top.
going to do that in a minute. Yeah, I just want to
Okay.
show the setup phase here. So, okay. So now these are all the things I do first. Now, as Shreya pointed out, we still have not written the email. So that's something that you've got to
Yeah,
do in ClickFunnels.
well, the only reason I brought that up is because you don't want to say send immediately and then you completely forget to write anything in the email.
Right. And they won't let you send it. So they've done a good job of like saying you can't schedule it because you haven't completed that part yet. So they grade it out. So they'll let you know too. But this is what this means, just so you're aware. Immediate would be like, I want to send this out right now, which that works if you're in the middle of the day, when your audience opens. Once again, I wish I could. There are two times I found that work well for our industry, but we tend to reach people that are like trying to run a business, trying to start a business from home. So like sending an email to them at 12 o'clock p.m. noon is not the best time because they're at work, they're busy, they're whatever. Sending an email to people at 9 p.m. Pacific time to around 12 a.m., around 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern is a perfect time. And I found that works in the health niche, weight loss, online business. That is a sweet spot time where we see sales just go crazy. So I would highly encourage you to consider those times, but also know your audience. Like I've worked with clients that they're trying to reach physicians and rheumatologists. And so a rheumatologist is typically checking their email between 9 and 5. They're not there later in the day. So, so you want to reach them where they're at. So immediately would be you want to send that email now. Later would be you want to create several emails and send those out. So Shreya actually uses ClickFunnels to queue up our PLR funnels emails. Like when we are pushing PLR funnels and other products, she queues up the later option. And then we can send out every single reminder email. We can push out there right away. So what we're going to do is put in the start time of when you want to send that out. So I could say, okay, I want to send this July 3rd. Like, let's just say, for example, you are planning to be out the entire week of July 4th, right? It's a holiday week, whatever. You got plans, family in town. You could queue up an email for each day that goes out, and you could pick the time that you want to send that email. And I'm a big proponent of sending in the morning and the evening. So I find that also that 7 a.m. Spot is actually really good as well. So that also works. Now you can choose your time zone. I typically would use the time zone feature because your workspace, unless you've set it, it might be on a different time zone than what you're thinking. So I generally work off of Eastern time zone. It's easiest for me to remember kind of what it is. So that's 7:30 a.m. Eastern. That's a good morning time to send. And this other option here, you can take it or leave it. Again, this is an option if you have, you can do it. What this does is, so there's two schools of thought here. So smart sending and MailChimp has this, Aweber has, other emailers have this too. But I love that ClickFunnels has this because smart sending basically means we're going to send your email to optimize delivery over a period of time. So it's not going to like jam everything through at once. So the ISP or the internet service providers, the ESPs, email service providers aren't going to freak out and be like, oh, there's too many emails hitting us at once, from this one provider. And so it increases the chance it gets inbox. It also is smart in the sense that it will send your subscribers at the right times, things like that. If you're somebody that is ahead of the curve and like you're a very well planned out person, smart sending can work great because then it's going to like hit people. Now, if you use smart sending and you have a deadline for an offer, you don't want to do smart sending. You want to send immediately, and then you would send it to uncheck that box, right? Because otherwise it's going to take that same email, drip it out over 24 hours. And you're going to be like, nobody saw the end of, only half my subscribers saw the offer as it's ending. So just keep that in mind, like know what you're promoting before you go all in on that. But that's what smart sending is, in case you're wondering. I like it. It's not a bad feature to use. I try to use it as much as I can. So I definitely, it's worth keeping checked. And all of that. So once you're done with that, hit update. Now, you'll notice we have not done a broadcast yet, and I still can't schedule it because I have not even done an email yet. It's still in draft phase. So now we're going to go to edit broadcast, and there's an option here that says design email. So design email. Now, I absolutely love that ClickFunnels gives you so many really cool templates that you can work from. In fact, there's 30 plus email templates that you can go through. Some really cool ones. They have like everything from holiday gift guides. Like, look, this is a promo email if you had like physical products. They've got all kinds of really cool features. This would be a kind of a welcome email. And this is kind of for a software SaaS company look and feel. They've got a lot of really cool ones. They have your standard blank template, which we love. They also do a really good job for different niche markets as well. So a lot in the product space, a lot of like Black Friday sales. Like I just love all the templates they have. Now, I'll tell you my favorite one of all time is the Russell Brunson style. It's the style that I write in. It's the style that I think gets the best conversion rate. Few images mean typically a better inbox rate, typically. So that's up to you. But this is the Russell Brunson style that works very well. I highly recommend it. It's probably the easiest one to go with. So that's what I start with. So I just choose select template. It loads up that template for me. Now I'm able to go in here and I'm able to go through the process here. So I've got this in here, and you can start to just edit this email. So, you can just type in whatever you want. Now, remember, the templates come preloaded with content. So definitely fix, these things, right? And, they even do a good job of like, hey, use this as a template if you want. Again, this is writing like Russell Brunson. So unless you're Russell Brunson, it's probably not going to connect with your audience. So I would advise you to write it in your own voice. That's the only way to reach people effectively. But you can go in and you can do all kinds of cool things. You could make things bold. You can make them italics. You can, change font around. You could change font colors. There's just so many different things you can do here, right? To make the email be whatever you want it to be. You could highlight things. I can go in here and choose like a yellow color, let's say, and we can make like a yellow highlight. So notice how I just highlighted that text so it pops out to me. There's lots of things you can do. And then let's say we get to our link, and let's say we want to make that clickable. Pretty standard here. You would just put in your link here.com. Or if you're watching this video and you want to get a really cool giveaway, go to sixfigureinsider.com and you'll get a really cool giveaway. Okay. So I'm just going to drop our link in there. And oops, I didn't highlight all this. I'm going to make this all bold, and we're going to make it all italics. And then I'm going to go back and fix my link again. That was a sneaky way to get you to see the link twice. Okay. All right. Sixfigureinsider.com. If you want
it was all planned.
Yeah, I wish it was planned. I wish I was that well thought out. Okay. So now you go here and you can, see the offer here, and then you fix whatever you want. This is pretty standard stuff, right? Like we're not, doing anything crazy to set the world on fire here. And there's also really cool features you can do in your email. So you can add in content features. So if you, below all the copy, you do in fact want to add an image, by all means, you can add an image. And so you can import an image. You can also search for relevant free pictures. So I could say laptop, like let's say I'm sending an email on this topic. So here is a laptop that I'm going to import into here, and they make it really easy. I just simply click on insert. Now I've got a picture. If you wanted to add a picture, again, you don't have to. You can do things like, sometimes I like to add a call to action button. So you can come in here, you can play around with the button colors, the button stylings. If you have a certain hex code that you use, like you go to Canva and you create like a certain brand or mood board you have, meaning like what colors you want to use, you can 100% do that. And then you can put in, this is the biggest, most important part, is what do you want to have happen when they click on the link? Do you want them to send an email to you, make a call, send a text message? In most cases, it's open a website link. So once again, your link here, sixfigureinsider.com. Okay. So drop your link in there, and that's how you make a button. Now, notice right now, it just says the word button on it. So I need to go in here and fix it. So I'm going to go here to the button, and I'm going to say, click here for an amazing deal. So whatever you want your call to action to be, that's what you would do. Now you make it bold. It's all about formatting, playing around with it, making it your own. The other thing that you can do, if like, let's say you want to add in like social media share options, like you can do that, like say at the bottom of your email. So I could come down here and you'll notice they make it really easy at ClickFunnels. I can drop in our Facebook link, our x.com. I could do Instagram, LinkedIn. If let's say you have like another platform like YouTube you want to throw in there, you could definitely drop that in there. So not a bad idea if you do want to include your social media channels. There's just so many things you can do. You can also add in rows. So if you want to have an email that maybe goes 3 rows across, again, you can play around with how that looks and how that layout is. So there's a lot of different features. And then I could drag content blocks into it. I could drag paragraph blocks. I could drag list blocks into it. So notice like I can do pretty much like I'm editing ClickFunnels in here. I think it's one of the coolest builders out there. Okay. So now we're going to go to publish and exit. So publish and exit. When you're comfortable, your email is good to go. So I'm going to go to, and actually before that, let me click on view current draft. So we'll take a look at the draft. There it is. And now you can hit publish and exit. So now you've drawn out your email. You've made your email. You want to keep your email short enough to be interesting, long enough to get across your point, just like they tell you in school, all those things, right? Very important. So now what you're going to do, you could send a test email from here. So you could send a text email if you want to. So I could send this out to support@marketingcounts.com if I wanted to, and then it would send a test email out. So now I can see how it's going to look. I advise you on your first few emails to do that. Once you get more comfortable, you're going to be a crazy person like I am and just hit send to hundreds of thousands of people and not think twice about it. And then later you're going to go, wow, I just basically emailed 100,000 people and didn't even think about it. Okay. So the other thing you can do is you'll come in here, you're going to hit schedule broadcast when you're ready. So make sure your design is set. Now, one thing I already set my subject line. Make sure you've done that. And then you can schedule your broadcast. Now, I'm not going to schedule this because these 5 people are going to be like, what? I think we have some testers in this account. I think our emails are in there. We'll probably end up getting it. But anyway, when you're ready, just hit on schedule and it will send it on the time and date that we set. So we set a later date set and it would show up. So I'm going to click on schedule broadcast. I am going to unschedule it because I don't want to surprise everybody on those days. Oops, it's now sending it out instantly. So whoever's on this is going to get a really random email now. So, oh well. So there it is. So now, and then when you're done, you'll get these total opens, total clicks, all these kind of things. If you don't have to worry about the revenue tracking yet. Again, don't stress about the little things. If you're building your business and using ClickFunnels and it's the first few times you've emailed, don't stress about it. Like, don't worry about setting all these things up. Like, yes, it'll get there, especially if you're selling a product that's inside your ClickFunnels account, then you definitely will want to go in there and, you're definitely going to want to like check the metrics, see how your emails performed, because every one of our email accounts actually has a, if your products are tied to ClickFunnels, it's going to directly like sync up here. But if you're promoting like an affiliate product or offer, which you can through email, then you're not necessarily going to see that data. So like, don't worry about that data, but look at more important things like, was your emails delivered? What was your open rate? The other thing I'm going to tell you right now is like, there are certain mailers that do not track open rate. So that's for a whole nother subject, but that's, something to keep in mind. So if you have a lot of people using Proton Mail, you're probably not going to see open rates. So don't stress about that either. At the end of the day, what you want to worry about, the only metric that really counts, clicks and sales. How many people clicked? How many people landed on your page? How many people purchased? Unsubscribes, believe it or not, it's okay to get unsubscribes. If people unsubscribe, it means they're not interested in what you have to offer, and that is perfectly fine. You're removing the dead weight from your list. Don't freak out about an unsubscribe. So
it cleans up your list.
It does. Cleans up your list, makes it get inbox better. So it actually helps you long term. So don't get stressed over it. And I know a gentleman, we know somebody and follow somebody that is, I love his metric. His might be a little more extreme, but he actually gauges his email team success on if they're emailing hard enough based on the amount of unsubscribes. So he says if they don't hit a threshold of unsubscribes each day, and again, he has a huge following, then he's like, my email team is failing. They're not emailing hard enough. But that's more of an extreme metric. But the point is, he's not wrong either, because you should be emailing your list. And if they unsubscribe because they don't want to hear from you, okay, move on. And just send out to the ones that do want to hear from you. So just want to keep all those metrics in mind. That's how you send a broadcast. You can also go in here and view details to see, how your email performed. Anytime you want to check your email stats, you can go to emails over here. It's going to tell you all that. And now I'm going to go check and see who these 5 people are. They got a random email. That'll be fun to see.